I completely kind of see what he was saying, but also at the end of the day, like you want as a GM, you want to have a quarterback on their rookie deal, so that way you're able to make the team more complete.
Yeah, like even and obviously everybody around the program knows my affinity for Aaron Rodgers, but like I was thinking about this today, and even like in 2022, and I know I've said this before, um, when I was talking about like what Jordan Love needed to do in his first year as a starter, right?
Right.
Rodgers in 2022 was nowhere near worth the money he was being paid, right? And that's how I think about it. Like,
Well, it did affect the team. It did affect
oh,
the outcome of like what they were trying to do. And Gudikris did his best. And in my opinion, he did the best he possibly could do with that team,
yes, but
especially defensively. Especially defense. Sorry,
for
especially
sure.
defensively.
But that was the problem was offensively you have so much money tied into
Exactly.
Rodgers, right? And Rodgers did so much for the franchise, incredible moments. In 2022 he was not himself, right? For whatever reason you want to put on that, that's not the point right now. Point was he was a average quarterback in 2022. And for how much he was being paid with one of the top cap hits in the
Yeah.
NFL, he was not worth it. That's
Right.
why the Packers were able to do so much more last year and this year with Jordan Love's smaller cap hit. And that's why they will be more dangerous than the Packers were in 2022.
And
Because the Packers just had a ceiling and they had hit the ceiling. And that's
so
not
I
necessarily
love this.
Goody's fault.
I love this, but I love this though. I like, and to be honest with you, and like I did not give like, and shit, I'll say like both you and you as a Packers fan and me just not knowing, like I did not give that man enough credit until I see what's going on here in Chicago with Ryan Poles. So
Yeah.
we have people getting mad, excuse me, mad at Ryan Poles and talking shit about Ryan Poles, saying he doesn't know what he's doing. He's doing this, he's doing that. The guy is doing the right thing for this team right now. Why are you bringing out a guy that you could have just signed in the offseason, whatever? Relax. You know what I'm saying? Like I gave away a 4th-round pick, but you know what? I'm still going to re-sign him, and he's going to be super successful. Okay, he knows
Right.
what he's doing. So like it's a growth process that it's a big picture aspect that they have. And I'm including Gudikris in this as well. It's a big picture prospect or aspect that they have that fans necessarily don't have.
Well, and again, I like what Ryan Poles is doing. Obviously,
Hold on. Let me comment on this. And yes, you're right. Like okay, and that's fine. But like
Packers also wanted to trade for him too.
okay, right, it's true too. And so it's not unheard of that GMs do miss. It's not unheard of that it happens. But I'm going to tell you right now, though, he's got more W's in his freaking column than he does L's.
Look at the 3rd round of the 2020 NFL draft and tell me how many GMs hit. It was like 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was like one of the worst rounds of NFL history, right? So like, yeah, being a GM in the NFL is really hard. Although Jack thinks he could GM any team, which I respect the gander that he's got. But like that's what.
Nice.
That's where, as a fan, and then doing some stuff on the media side, like it always drives me crazy when fans are like, "Oh my gosh, why didn't they do this?" Blah 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 blah. Like, so even in and Bruce, I know you know this too. Like in the business I work for, I'm sure in the business you work for, there are people whose jobs it is to focus on the right now. There are
Yeah,
people whose jobs it is to focus
on the
1 to
big
3
picture.
months, 3 to 6 months.
Yep.
6 months to a year, 1 to 10 years, right? And that's the different jobs, right? And so the head coach is right now. Who do I have on this roster? Who can I coach right now? And maybe they are already looking at the next draft. Like, okay, who do I think we can bring in? Da, 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 da. Scouts work on the future. GM is like 1 to 5 years in advance because they're already looking at how will this contract affect what I can do for the next 5 years. And so fans are reacting to the now, and I would just advise them to calm down a little bit because
it's a win now situation. I mean, it's a sorry, I go ahead. I mean, I'll let you finish.
No, and that's the point is they are trying to balance winning now with being able to also be in charge in 5 years to still be trying to win then.
Right.
And that's what you have to understand is at the end of the day, Ryan Poles also has a family to take care of, and he's got bills, and this is his.
Did you get a chance to see him on Pat McAfee, by the way?
No, I did not.
If you get a chance to,
Was it good?
yeah, it was really good. Like they said they busted his chops big time. They're like, congratulations on your first pick with Caleb Williams. It was funny. And
Oh, I saw that clip.
that was good. But no, but they also said like, so to go into what you said about the family things or whatever, he had to tell, he told his son was the first person he told that they were trading Justin Fields, because guess who his son was for Halloween last year?
Ooh,
Justin Fields. So
Yeah.
like he told his son, like, listen, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going down. Like he did that. And like he said he made the move strictly because it was the best for the Chicago Bears in the future.
By the way, Clemson and Arizona already hit my predicted score, and there's 5 minutes left or 4 minutes left. That's tough.
That is tough. That's why I told you. I was like, you really think they're going?
Yeah, PJ Hall didn't do what I thought he was going to do, even though I just found out his name an hour ago.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, I said it. What do you mean you're welcome? I read it on ESPN.
Wait, hold on. Who's my guy? Son of a bitch.
I have no idea.
Anyway,
so it's being a GM in the NFL is really, really hard.
Yeah, it's super difficult. God bless those guys.
Just
like, I get
bring it down a notch, guys. Like
bring it down a notch.
Bring it down a notch. Like if okay, here's my thing, and I know that so many people would disagree with this, probably including you. I've watched my team in my lifetime win a Super Bowl. If they never win a Super Bowl again, I will always remember 2010 when Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl. And I will always think of that memory incredibly fondly. Because that's also one of my last memories with my grandmother. She was in the room. And she had just moved to Chicago. We were taking care of her. And she lived a couple years, but that was one of the last times that she was really herself. And we had a whole Super Bowl party. Like, that's why I watch football. I watch it because, I moved back to Texas to be with my family, and I can go over and watch Packers games with my dad and with my family. Like,
man, you're like,
that's why
a little sentimental action going on over here. What?
Oh, for sure. That's why I love football. And so, my dad and I can go golf and we can rant about the game, right? But at the end of the day, I hate to break it to you guys, but it is just a game. Like, the fans, both in Chicago and otherwise, need to calm down. RELAX.
Hold on. All right, before I change the subject real quick. Hold on, before I change the subject real quick. Yeah, Caleb Williams has a pink phone case. Who gives a shit? Yeah, Caleb Williams had his fingers painted. Who gives a shit? I get it. You know what? He's gonna get a bunch of crap in the NFL too. He's gonna get lit up, and I'm sure someone's gonna talk shit to him. It is what it is. We're also talking about a city that had Dennis Rodman walking around marrying himself. We're also talking about a city that had Jim McMahon saying some asinine clown stuff, and he still did. Hey, shout out to Jim McMahon, by the way. We need to have you back on the show, by the way.
You right.
But I just think that fans need to pump the brakes, and it's all about what they do on the field and the job that they do. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that young man can sling the pill. So
speaking of on versus off the field, I want to get your opinion on one Japanese young man, Mr. Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, yes. 100% he's betting. 100% he's betting. And he threw his guy under the bus. And I think Pete Rose said it the best. I don't know if you had the chance. I wish we would have.
He said, I wish I had a translator.
He's like, I wish I had a translator in the 60s and 70s because I'd be great, right? Or I'd be fine.
I'd be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, something like that. Dude, it's true. But it's 100% true. And I think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Because right now, and I'm telling you this right now, and before, because I actually have something I want to talk to you about, and this is going to be strictly sports related and off. We didn't actually prepare for it, so I apologize. But that being said, though, Pete Rose is getting screwed over, and Shohei Ohtani is doing his thing, whatever. But I think we've entered into the realm of the gray area in sports with legalized gambling, okay? Because Houston, okay, so I'm going to use the Rockets for an example. Not that I'm saying I know anyone on that team, and not that I know or anything going on down there. What? Texas isn't allowed to bet. MJ brought that up earlier today.
Yeah.
Earlier in the show, excuse me. All right, so what happens if say somebody on the Rockets is like, oh man, I want to bet, whatever. But you know what they end up doing? I used to do this for my buddy in North Carolina. North Carolina just legalized gambling on like FanDuel and DraftKings or whatever. He would send me the money up here in Illinois. I would place the wager. If he won, I'd be like, all right, man, here you won. And I would send the money back to him. Guess what? Guess what I am? I was basically a bookie.
Right.
Not really, but I was basically that guy. So right now we've hit such a gray area in sports gambling that they think it's affecting, and I shouldn't say they think it is affecting aspects of these men that are busting their ass trying to like be successful on the field or on the it's pathetic. But I do think Shohei was a part of it. I think Shohei, I hope to God he wasn't gambling on baseball, because obviously it's against the rules. You're not allowed to do that. If you're a professional player, you're not allowed to gamble on your own freaking in your own sport. Listen, if Shohei wants to gamble on on horses, by all means. If he wants to gamble on soccer, by all means. What you do with your money, I do not give a shit. Just as long as that guy, that interpreter, was going to that bookie, it wasn't saying like, hey man, I got the money, but hey, so I don't have it now. But I'm going to tell you, I'll give you some tips about what's going on. All right. So today, for instance, for the Cubs game, Justin Steele got hurt with a hamstring. Yeah. Justin Steele, his hamstring's a little messed up. He might not do very well today. All right. So a little tip for you. Like, you might not see it or anything like that. Or, oh, hey, so this guy's out of the lineup today because, he's got a bad back or a bad arm, whatever like that. I wouldn't bet for us. I would bet against us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of small things like that's impeding on those gray areas of legalized sports gambling. Okay, well, yeah, I have my phone right here and it's in. Okay, but I'm sure people know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, hey, like someone has like a bum hamstring, or someone's like a bum, whatever, like a right shoulder injury or something like that, impeding how they throw, like something like that. I know I'm talking way too.
It's the same. It's the same reason people have issues with congressmen and women being able to trade stocks, right?
Exactly.
And we don't need to get crazy. We don't need to get crazy
Nancy
political,
Pelosi.
but it's like the same thing. Yeah, it's the same. It's the same concept. You have some inside information, so it gets a little sketchy, right? Do I care if Shohei was betting on cricket? No. Do I think Shohei probably had some knowledge of these bets going 100%. On to some extent? Yes. If he didn't, then Shohei has to go down as one of the dumbest people of all time. For him to, according to Shohei, only have one person, his interpreter, be the only person to filter any information that is in English to him in his entire life.
Right.
Because that's what he's theorizing, right? When he did that press conference. And two, for his interpreter to have access to his bank account and Shohei not notice until the federal authorities got involved that $4.5 million went missing. So you're either betting illegally, which that's one thing, or you're just stupid. Like, really, 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 really stupid. And I don't think it's that one.
And the interpreter changed the story. So,
yeah, but
anyway,
I don't think that the interpreter is like some victim here. I think he exactly knew what was going on. I think he also tried to lie to Shohei at some point. But also, like, I don't know if you watched the full press conference Shohei gave the other day. At one point, there's this written statement that he and his new interpreter are both reading off of, right? So Shohei reads in Japanese. The interpreter reads in English. They're both marking off where they are in the statement so that they know what to read next, right? At some point, Shohei says something different than the statement. You can tell because he's not looking at the paper. The interpreter has to then try and actually process what he said and says something along the lines of basically what he said, basically what Shohei said. And then Shohei, after he talks, taps him on the shoulder, says something else in Japanese, and then the guy clarifies. So Shohei knows enough English to hear the guy talk and say, no, that's not what I said, and then make him correct it in English. I will also say this is some sort of inside information. I'm not going to say who I got it from. I know somebody who is fairly involved with the LA Angels. Shohei knows English. Like,
yeah, no, yeah.
like
He was talking English to Mike Trout like after the All-Star game last year about places they wanted to go for food.
yeah, Shohei knows English. Like completely, as far as I am concerned, and as far as I've heard.
I got one for you too. And this isn't a guy I know personally. It's just that so apparently someone went golfing with the bookie. Shohei knew about the bets.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
That's it.